can see many years on your face, but I see a boy when I look in your eyes. There is something I said that I cannot define. I've been chasing it my whole life, and it calls to me secretly late in the night like an endless hunger. She said, as long as the sound of the wind whispers his name before the sun, and as long as the moon is alive, out in the way, the coyote runs, 'cause he
Stop it right there, friends. I won't do the whole song because we got through the main parts here. This is the song that we're going to be learning today, friends. Welcome. I'm Eric Andreas, your guitar sage. This is the Guitar Show. We're going to have a lot of fun here. Mike, I'm sorry I did not give you the heads up there that I was stopping that song. And he just told me. Friends, it is May the 25th, and this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take you through this song called Coyote Run by Gabriel the Bull. This is a new project that I'm working in right now, and I absolutely love it. Super cool tunes, kind of Spanish guitars, spaghetti western type of stuff, you know, right up my alley. Totally love it. And I'm going to show you how to come up with guitar parts. This, I really believe, might be the most powerful thing that I have ever taught or am ever going to teach. Well, I won't say ever going to teach. I'll come up with something else. But up to date, I think that you're going to get more from this series than possibly anything I've ever taught. Because what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to walk you through the same method that I go through and that other guitar players playing in the studio would go through when laying guitar parts down. Like, how do you come up with guitar parts? What do you think about? That sort of thing, okay? So there's a couple things that you're gonna need for you to be successful at this, though. And if you'll notice, in fact, I'm gonna go there right now. I'm gonna mute my computer because otherwise we're gonna hear that. I'm clicking on the video right now that you're watching. There I am. And right underneath it, you're gonna see beyond the chat. So what I want you to do is I want you to look in the description area, and you're going to see a link there, okay? Basically, it's going to take you, where is it? Right here. This is the link right here. There's a PDF there, okay? And there's also some other help if you need help with guitar, but we're going to be working off this PDF. So you're going to click on that, and then it's going to take you to this right here, okay? Or it's going to take you to a page where you can download this, okay? So while I'm yip-yapping and chit-chatting and kind of warming you guys up here, I want you to go do that right now, because you're not going to get what you need to get out of this unless you download that, okay? So go do that right now as we're speaking. Open it up in a new tab. I'm going to be waiting for you. Ready? Go. I'm joking. I'm not going to sit there that whole time like that, but I could. And yeah. So here's the deal. A couple great things happening this week. I'm showing you this. This is going to be one of a series. So I'm going to do this with lots of songs because I know that without a shadow of a doubt, the stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you is real world stuff. And it's absolutely going to help you with theory. It's going to help you with understanding how to come up with your own parts, yada, yada, yada. Promise you this is going to be amazing, okay? Also, later on this week, Saturday, we're dropping the intermediate Joe Robinson course. I'm super excited about that. If you guys didn't check out the beginner course, then we'll have a coupon for you on that as well this Saturday. But we're definitely dropping the intermediate course on Saturday. So for those finger pickers, finger stylists out there, check that out, okay? All right, so you should have downloaded the PDF as prescribed in the description and by the beginning of this video. Links in the description of the video, okay? Cool. Now, let's break this song down, okay? What you have sitting in front of you in this PDF is you basically have two of them. And Mike, if we can get that shot, I'm going to walk them through this real quick. So this is the PDF. This is for Coyote Runs, the song that you just heard. And so I create these charts for my band just so they can learn, so we all can learn, and we can change things up and have a schematic to go off of where we can know where definitive punches are, where pushes are. I'll describe all that, where diamonds are. You can see those right here. Where repeats are, all the rest. This may look like code to you, and it should, because you never learned it. All right, if I put Mandarin in front of you, you're not going to get that either, right? So don't be hard on yourselves, okay? You don't know what you don't know, and I'm going to show it to you, and you're going to get it, and it's going to be super easy. It's like ABCs. Seriously, it's so easy. If I can get it, you can get it, okay? So two charts you're looking at. This is the first one. This is the second one. The first one's standard chord notation. The second one is the number system, and we might get to that today if we have the time. But either case, we're going to be working off of this first chart for sure. Okay. Okay, a couple things I want to show you is right here in the beginning. You see that, well, first off, I had to run capo 1. So I've got the capo at the first fret, and I'm acting like I'm in the key of G. It's what I call the feel of G, because we have G, and we have a D, and we have a C, we have an E minor, we got a B7. So we have all the chords that are present in the G major key, tonal center, okay? But in actuality, the tonal center for this song is E minor, ignoring that we have this capoed. If we're counting the capo, then it's really F sharp minor, but that's going to confuse you. Just think, we've got this capoed here, we're going to act like we're holding the chords as if we would for any song that we're learning. Cool? So capo 1, and then we're acting like G, D, C. We're not going to call them G sharp, D sharp, C sharp. That's going to be confusing, okay? So, got a capoed at the first fret. And I said that we have all the chords for the key of G, but in actuality, the tonal center is E minor, okay? E minor, G major are brother and sister, if you will. They're related. It's called relative major and relative minor. Every major key has a related minor key. Every minor key has a related major key. And what that means is that they share the same sets of notes and they share the same sets of chords. But just like this morning when you woke up, you either said, I'm going to be pissy today or I'm going to be happy today. And same way with the chords, depending on how they're slanted, the way that you play them, how often you play them, which ones you start at, which ones you end at, etc. How you use the chords determines what the actual tonal center is, okay? We'll talk about that as we go through this series, okay? Something else I want you to see here is that the quarter note, which is one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, forget that. I probably got it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Yeah, I think that's wrong. That should be an eighth note right there. I think I got that wrong. Nonetheless, when you see this, this would be BPMs, like beats per minute, and this normally would, I'm hearing a noise. Normally, that would say something like, do you hear a noise?
Oh, yeah.
Are they hearing it? I don't even think it's, yeah. All right, it's gone now. Thank you, Mike.
What was it?
I don't know. I think it might have been a UFO or drone or something in the back there. I don't even think it's in this place. I think it's like somewhere else. All right, so here you go. So the song's in 6/8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Most songs, 99.9% of the songs out there are in 4 or 6. Okay, a song that would be in 4 would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a song that swings or does this kind of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? That is a waltz or something in 3 or something in 6. So when you hear that feel, if it makes you want to dance a waltz, like this song makes me want to dance a waltz, then it's in 3 or it's in 6. Cool? All right. Now, another thing I want you to look at is on the far left here. Look at these little symbols here. This is intro. This is verse. This is chorus. This is bridge. This is turnaround. Verse, chorus, bridge, sol, or sun. Now this is solo. Verse, chorus, bridge. You got it, okay? So that just denotes that section of the song. The chorus of the song is the big section. The coyote run, right? It's that big section there. This is the intro, which is the same exact chord progression as the chorus. This is the verse, which is basically... we can see some patterns in there. We'll talk about that in a minute. Something else I want to address here is these right here. These are repeat symbols, so it just means we repeat what's in there. So we do it one time, we do it twice, because we're repeating it. And then the verse has its own little section. We repeat this part twice. We repeat this part twice. We repeat this part twice, etc., etc. Cool? Cool. All right. These diamonds here denote, at least for me as the guitar players, I'm just going to strum that chord and I'm going to hold it for 6 beats. When it's a diamond like that here in Nashville, that means, and sometimes you'll see the diamond over the chord as well. It just means you hold the chord out for the whole measure. So if the song's in 4, you hold it out for 4. If it's in 6, you hold it out for 6. Okay? Good, good, good. Obviously, this would be a B7 chord. This would be an E minor chord. If you don't know those chords, where you got this PDF at the bottom, you can go to a free course that I have provided for you, and it will teach you all this stuff. So get involved, because I can't go over the basics every single time. We'll never get to the really good stuff, okay? So this little dot here is just, again, a way in Nashville here for us to separate sections of a verse. So it's like a little chunk, okay? So it makes it a lot nicer to look at than if we had 16 chords lined up here like a sentence. That would be really easy to get lost in, just like periods at the end of a sentence. We do this sort of thing here, and it just means, hey, this is a little section. So instead of 16 bars across the screen, we have 2 sections of 4 bars each, and then 2 sections of 4 bars each. Cool? Cool. All right, so, usually what these mean, again, is you just hit on the one and you hold it out. The whole band could do that, or in this case here, I was just doing that for the guitars, specifically the electric guitars. This section here is a split measure. So whereas this gets 6 beats, this gets 6 beats, 6 beats, 6 beats, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These all get 6 beats. This whole section gets 6 beats. But we denote a split bar, meaning they share that measure. We denote that by doing this underline here. And this guy is 1 beat, so guess how many beats this guy is, the E minor? You guessed it, 5, right? Because it has to be 6 total beats, and if that guy gets 1 beat, then I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it would sound like this. I'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Okay. We'll come back to that in a minute. Anything else funky here? There is a couple things that are a little funky. Here's the kind of down verse that you guys heard. And then the solo part, notice this. So a little fun thing that you can do with chord progressions is you can take chords, what I call sister chords, and essentially what they are is the related major or minor chord that's used oftentimes to substitute a chord, right? It's like using, if you're writing a speech or something, you use the same word many times, or you're writing a song, you use the same word many times. You don't want to do that, but you might take a synonym of that, a word that means the same thing but is a different word, right? And in this case here, notice we have an A minor, E minor, D, D. That's normally how that chord progression goes in this song. But for the solo, we do this fun little thing where we go A minor, G, D, D. And then that happens at the end here too. A minor, E minor, D, D, A minor, G, D, D. So it's just a variation to catch the ear, to make it more interesting so it's not so monotonous. Again, I told you, you're gonna learn tons of stuff during this series here in real time. This is why I'm so excited about this. Now we could substitute with other chords, that's fine. But that's the one that we chose to do, okay? Okay, so like for this beginning here, so when folks are learning how to read a chart, they say, well, Eric, it doesn't say anything about the strumming. I know, it's also not going to change your diaper or brush your teeth for you. It's a chart. It's literally a really simple representation of a song, okay? So it doesn't do anything for you other than tell you this is the chord that's represented for this amount of time, okay? That's good, because you're a creative, just like I am. We're all creators. We can all create, we can all sing, you can all write songs, yada, yada, yada. If you don't believe me, stick around. You will, in time, be doing all that stuff, okay? So indeed, this is just a chord chart. It just tells you what the chords are. But that's what we want as a guitar player, as an instrumentalist. We usually, now beginners, no, tell me exactly what to play. I don't know what to play. That's what this is about today, is I'm going to show you how to think so that you can come up with your own parts. Once you can do that, you want a blank chart like this, or not a blank chart, but a simple skeleton chart like this so that you can say, okay, I'm going to do this there, and I'm going to do this here, and that guitar player is going to do that there, and you both are just working around that chord instead of both playing the same chord, sounding monotonous and elementary and boring, okay? All right. I think that covers the basics of this chart here. So like if I was going to play this beginning here, it doesn't really say much other than the chords are, the chord progression or the tempo is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's your count in. Then I'm going to be taking this at the top of the intro right here, and I'm going to play this one part here. And I'm going to do it twice because we got the little repeat symbols, right? Little happy faces right there. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. E minor, D, C, B7. I'm going to do it again. E minor, 2, counting in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Verse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can either choose to play or not play, but that right there, that chord was held out. I just held it out for 12 beats instead of 6, because that's what I do at that part of the song. More on that later. We're going to get to the fun stuff here in a minute. This is really, really crucial that you know this stuff, okay? So before I go on to the next part, I'm going to get to some questions, Mike, because I just want to make sure that people understand this chart and everything, and then we're going to get to the other parts here, okay? So let me get to your guys' chat here, and let's see what we got here. Okay. This is a Gretsch 6120. It's a 1959 6120. Woo! This was my dream guitar as a little boy, and I finally got it. When? Hello from Kentucky. When can we buy these songs? You don't have to buy them, Jim. It's the new age, friend. They're on Spotify. They're on, well, in the link below, you can see the video. We just did a music video for this in New Mexico. So if you want to see, me jumping around like an idiot in the desert, then you'll want to watch that video. We actually had we had a blast doing it. So there you go. You've got the video and the song.
Spotify, Apple Music.
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. You can get them for free. Yeah. All right, just making sure you guys don't have any questions. If you have any questions about that so far, let me go. I'm looking. Oh, thanks, Marine Mama. Love the song and the lyrics, right? The lyrics are great. And our boy Gabe is a great singer. Is the stream going to be there even after it ends? It will be. Okay, a lot of folks. Got someone from Mexico. We got tons of folks from all over the world here. Beautiful. Okay, I have no musical questions. What is for lunch? All right, so
There's one at the bottom.
curved dash between the chords. Curved dash between the chords. Curved dash. I'm not seeing a curved dash between the chords. Oh, yes, I see what you're talking about. That's a tie, okay? So, Mike, if we can show him that. I didn't mention that. This guy right here, this is a tie. So in music, when we have a note and we have another note, if we have this little tie that ties them together, it just means play the note and hold it out for the length of this whole thing. So if this is equal to 6 and this is equal to 6, like I played it earlier, I'm just holding that chord out for 12 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm on to the next chord. Okay? That's good. Great question. All right. Good. Yeah. This is how we're going to do it, friends. We're going to literally do this in real time. How do we know how many times we repeat? You only repeat one time unless it says otherwise. So what I'll do is I'll put those repeat symbols and I might say repeat 4 times if I want you to repeat it 4 times. If it doesn't say it, just repeat it once. The capo theory. There's nothing really to think about it. We don't want to complicate it. We're putting the capo at the 1st fret. It's called the 1st fret because it's the 1st fret. And that's it. And then you act like you're playing the G and the D and the E minor and the C, but in actuality, everything's sharp because you put the capo on, right? So don't overcomplicate that. Don't overthink it, okay? The pickups and the Gretsch are your basic, oh, hell, it was a long night. Dear Lord, how did I forget the name of these pickups? Someone in the chat will let me know. But,
Are they Filtertron?
Thank you, Mike. They're called Filtertrons. It's a lot. What's that?
I was letting you sweat for
Well, that was a long night. Okay, what's your fingering for the B7? Dwight, the fingering for the B7 is like a G chord. That's a great question. So take a G chord, back it up a fret.
switch hammers on
Yeah. Take the G chord, back it up a fret, take these 2 fingers, drop them down 1 string, boop, and take this finger and bump it up 1, boop. That's a B7. And then I even will take my thumb and mute that 6th string there. You know? Ken, here's the good news. If you can play a G, you can play a B7. I promise you. I didn't like the B7 at first, but if you relate it to the G, trust me, do it the way I said, back it up 1, move those fingers, use association, it's not going to be a thing for you. It's just like the G chord. It's easier than the G chord even, okay? Okay. Playing in the key of F sharp minor, James. Yes, but that's not the way we're thinking, okay? We're thinking as if we're in E minor because we've got the capo. If you're not using the capo, then yes, you will think like you're in F sharp minor, okay? So the number of dots in the repeat is not how many times one repeats. No, that is not. Okay, so now let's go back to, we're gonna go back to this chart here, and Mike, you can pull that up again. Thank you, sir. So let's talk about this. In the beginning, okay, sometimes you're just playing chords, but how you're playing the chords matters also. So remember that when we're playing, we want to orchestrate. So if the nylon strings, which there's nylon strings all over this music, if there's nylon string guitars doing the strumming, right? Doing that, that's driving. I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be going. It's just too much. Way too much, especially with the reverb and everything else. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do diamonds, kind of like what we have right here, except, you know, for the guys in the band, they were just driving. You know, they're strumming, they're playing, they're all playing. There's no band hitting those diamonds. So I'm not gonna denote that. But for me, I'm just gonna go. Okay, so I just played those very simple. Now, I play them slightly differently. What I do is I do an E minor, standard E minor, and for my D chord, I do this. I go, and we'll get close-ups on this in a minute, okay? And then I take that whole figure and I move it down for my C chord, and then for my B7, I play a B7, but I move the bass note for half of the measure. So I go. So I move the bass note down from a B. Okay. And someone said earlier, are we an F sharp minor? No, we're an F minor if you don't have the capo. I said F sharp, or he said F sharp. That got me thinking F sharp, not an F sharp, F. F, F, F. Okay. So there's our B7. So let me show you why I came up with this. Again, you're gonna be learning stuff on the fly here. You're gonna literally walk away with like 30 to 50 new tools to use. Throw in your toolbox. And then we're gonna integrate them as we do more and more of these songs, okay? Because you're gonna find similar things weaving through this, okay? So standard E minor. Now this chord right here is a D chord, but I'm kind of doing a little fun, having some fun with it here. Okay, now how in the heck did I come up with this as a D chord? And Mike, we can do a zoom on this now for a moment. Okay, so check this out. Think about this. Think about a C chord, right? You've heard me say it before, anything that you do in the open position can be done further up the neck, and that's what we're gonna be doing. So I'm gonna play a standard C chord. Okay, now if I take that and I move it up 2 frets, 1, 2, then essentially 3 of those notes just moved, the ones that my fingers are on. The other 2 are still down here in the open position. Let's see how it sounds. Well, that's cool. That works out real nice. I knew that. But I wanted you to know that. So I could analyze that chord. I'm not going to right now, but it's I can't not. It's nah, that's going to be distracting to you. There is an 11 in there though, or a suspension. So now what I did is I just took that chord form, I moved it up, but instead of playing the D in the bass, I'm playing the 5th of the chord in the bass. And it's an inversion. It creates a really cool sound. Instead of this, which to me sounds kind of boring for this, I play this. It sounds so much more lively. Instead of the C chord, I play it with that same bass note. I just move the whole guy down. And it's nice and guttural. It's got that really deep tone to it, right? So it sounds like this. And pretty much anytime I'm playing the intro, the turnaround, or the chorus, that's what I'm doing. Okay, Mike, great on that shot, thank you. Okay, so basically now, you know, re-looking at the chart, the way that I just showed you how to do that, the intro, the chorus, the turnarounds, which there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's go back to it.
Yeah. Check this out. The part I just showed you, we're playing this twice here, twice here, twice here, twice here, twice, twice, twice. So the reason I'm showing you that is I want you to understand that when you start breaking a song down into sections like this, it becomes way less overwhelming than you thinking, I've got to play random notes for 3.5 minutes. In this case, I think the song might be over 4 minutes. It's not like that. You have sections of songs, and once you learn that section, you're good. And then you move to the next section. Cool? Which is what we're going to do now. So that was the intro, that's the choruses, that's the turnarounds. You're done with that, okay? We'll save the best for last, which is the bridge. And let's do the verse now. So for this song, right, it does this intro part, and we got the, right, all this right here. And then we got these 2 chords here, the C and the B7. And then Gabe does this. He does this little trill, right? Which is back and forth between the C and the B. It's that trill sound that you hear in Spanish music all the time, right? So in that case, if we're thinking the scale, if we're thinking the G major scale, it's the 4 and the 5. You're going back and forth between those 2 notes. Okay, and I hold the C chord, and then I hold that B7, and I hold them for 6 beats apiece. That's why we have the diamond there. And then I turn this effect on, which is a really long reverb, and I go. And it fills up that space because I'm not going to be playing. Now he's doing his little finger picking part during then, but I want to let him have his space. Something that's very important to remember if you're ever laying guitar parts down for a band live, in the studio, for your own parts, doesn't matter. What you want to do is you want to stay out of the way of the singer, and you want to stay out of the way of other instrumentalists as they have a part. And if you want that part to be heard, if it wants to be highlighted, you kind of step out of the way. In bluegrass, what they do is they just step back from the microphone because they only had one microphone, right? And then if it's solo time, the guy just gets closer to the microphone, everybody takes a little step back. It's a great way to feature that instrumentalist. And in this case here, Gabe, the singer for the band, he plays nylon string, and he has a really cool part there that, number 1, I thought needed to be highlighted, and number 2, we have this big, giant intro. You know, we're out in the desert, we're sweating, we're riding horses. And then you want it to chill out for just a second because it just got big. It grabs your attention. We got to chill out. Life is all about ebb and flow. It's all about, well, ebony and ivory. It's all about yin and yang. It's all about tension and release. Music's about tension and release. If you have dynamics, right? Dynamics are the highness and lowness of a note, the volume. If that's just on 10 all the time, what fun is that? Well, it's fun for a little while till I got to turn that music off because you get tired of it. But how much cooler if you could make the music such where people didn't want to turn it off all the time, right? So I'm a big fan of some of the heaviest music out there, right? Metal, but even heavier, right? And but you can only listen to that for so long if they don't work with dynamics well, if they don't get quiet, what have you. Very, very important to understand that concept. And with the singer, you know, you don't want to be playing notes and what have you that are interfering with what the singer's doing, getting in the way. And you want to wait for spaces for them to stop so that you can play your part, and so you share the stage, if you will. We'll talk about that in the bridge because I literally do that. And I'm doing that here too, right? At the beginning. I have those big old diamonds, the drums driving, the guitars are driving, the bass is driving, everybody's driving. Why do I need to drive? I should sit back and do something different, okay, to give it that big sound. You think about an orchestra. When you go see the orchestra, you got the double basses, you got the piccolo flutes, and everything in between. How boring would it be if everything was right at the violin level, right? Both dynamically and frequency-wise, right? The cool thing about the orchestra is those double basses you're going to hear at the same time as the violins and the violas and everything else because of where they sit in the spectrum, okay, in the musical spectrum. So just something to remember, okay? So, while we're on the subject, let's talk about tone for just a second. This music calls for lots of reverb, lots of delay, in my opinion. Normally, I don't play with that sort of thing. Normally, I'm a plug-and-play kind of guy, plug into an amp, overdrive, a little bit of overdrive, and a little teens of reverb, just so it doesn't sound so dry and upset. But this particular music really calls for that sound. It's so arena-like and big, you know, that it calls for these big type of spacious type things. And even this one here, it just fills up the space. But you need to be very careful. That's like if you're a cook and you're using spice and you're using too much spice. You want to be good with the spices, okay? You want to not overspice things, but sometimes you just need some damn cayenne pepper, cayenne, and you need a lot of it. Sometimes, okay? In this case here, we do. We need a lot of reverb. So I'm using a decent amount of overdrive. I mean, it can be clean, but if I dig in, also, when you hear me hit those long extensions here, right, for after the come all this way. Oh, I didn't hit it. And I'm just kind of whacking on the wang bar here, all right? So, and that just kind of gives it some space. It gives it something. So it's like I want to hit that diamond. I want to hit that chord and like let it ring out. But it needs something. It can't just be, it needs something there. So I'm just kind of giving it a little warble, if you will, with the tremolo. Okay? Good. What you laughing at back there?
You and your wang bar.
All right, so we talked about the verse. No, we haven't. Okay, so we got the very first two chords, and I got that E minor. And basically what I did for this is, you know, Gabe's twiddling, doing his finger picking bit there, and I want that to be featured. And if I'm wanking away, smacking big old chords out, that part's not going to be heard. That would be obnoxious, so I'm not going to do that. So what I did is I just hit those two chords, and I held that out until I played that chord right here, and I held it out for 6 beats, and then I didn't play anything over these, and then I hit these out for 12 beats. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here, Mike. I'm going to play that part. Can I do that? Let me see.
Probably.
Yeah, for some reason it's not. Oh, I think I paused my video, so I shouldn't hear it. Okay, so let's. Is that going to be distracting?
We shall see.
Yeah. Let's do that part. Mike, let's do the chorus. Let me find it here, guys. Hold on 2 seconds. The verse. Let me find this. We're right at it. Okay. So now.
You want the chart up?
Yes. Let's get that chart up, please, sir. Okay. So now. This. I'm going to take it from the very first measure there of the chorus. So. Here we go. This is going to be starting on the C and the B7 here. Okay, we can pull up that chart, Mike. Verse. C, B7. C, B7, E minor. Not playing anything here.
Something I said that I cannot divide. I've been chasing in my
A minor. Here we go.
and it calls to me secretly late in the night like an endless hunger.
Okay, so we're gonna stop right there. So notice what I did here is I only played a chord right here. I played a big old diamond with a tie right here. This is just notes for me, because again, you're coming up with these parts, right? You're gonna, I promise you, you're gonna take this stuff and you're gonna run with it, and you're gonna be a badass. Okay, and then I did another diamond right here with a tie to that. Bingo, bango, Django. It was that easy. Okay, I mean, like anybody can do that, right? Just kind of doing that a little bit. And then I didn't play anything here, and for this A minor, here's a little trick. For pretty much any minor chord, you can play an add 9 chord. An add 9 chord is when you take that minor note. Okay, in this case here, if it's an A minor chord, I'm taking my first finger and I'm letting go, and I'm playing it open. So I'm playing, instead of an A minor, I'm playing an A add 9. It's pretty sweet, huh? Yeah. Okay, so you can do that pretty much for any minor chord. Don't overdo it though, okay? All right, now then we're back to the chorus, which you know already because we talked about that. Now, the bridge. The bridge is pretty cool, man. I like what Gabe did here because he changed the tonal center. He didn't change the tonal center, but what he's doing is he's starting a new section on a different chord, and it brings the melody to a new place, right? This is when with the soaring, oh, right? And so let me tell you what I did here. Is number one, you know, I did these nice big swells with the reverb and everything. We did the rock and roll, big power chord type things, although they weren't power chords, they were full chords. For the bridge part here, I wanted to do something different. So what I did is I brought in this type of vibe. Hold on, was there anything else I needed to show you there? No. Okay, bridge. So I did A minor. And back into the turnaround again, okay? So what the part that I just played to you with that warbly sound there, it's called the tremolo. You know? I'm playing an A minor chord. So essentially, if I just played the chords, it would sound like. Now some of you are saying, well, why aren't you playing that other D? Well, because the D is represented, but I don't have to hit it again. Why not hit it 47 times? Well, because that would be obnoxious, right? In this case here, hitting it twice there to me is obnoxious. Like, I don't need to hit it twice. I just need to hit it the one time and let it roll out and let it sing. Because again, the other instruments are driving. This is something that you want to do when you're playing in a band. You want to listen across. You don't always want to be hogging all the space. You leave space, you jump out when you have something great to say, and you step back when everybody else is saying something cool. Just like a conversation. It's real simple. Okay, so now, but what I wanted to do here is I wanted to give it a little bit of movement, but I didn't want to walk on the vocals, right? So what I do is I go, he goes, I do this basically, I hammer on my first finger here, I go, and then I play my E minor. Real simple, right? But it gives it a little movement. So I go, kind of arpeggiating up the chord. Nothing fancy. Okay, just moving up the chord there. And then I hit that big old E minor. And then the D. And then Gabe stops talking. He stops singing. I don't want to waste a good guitar part over a singer. usually the guitar player wants to wait and stay out of the way of the singer. I think about it like I want the singer to stay out of the way of the guitar player. No, I'm joking. But I don't want to waste the guitar part while he's singing. Number one, it's kind of rude. You want to let the singer do his thing, give him the space. But then when he shuts up for a minute, then I'm going to do my little thing, right? So what I did is here is he goes, 'cause he knows. Space for me to play something. And what I did there is basically I just grabbed some notes that I liked. I just, as I was playing it, hummed the melody and was like, yeah, that works. In fact, it was right here in the studio that we were recording that part, and Gabe and I were like, well, how about this? What about da-da-da-da? We were coming up with different parts. That was the one that stuck. So in this case here, you could play anything, but I'm sure by ear you know what I'm doing there, okay? And then back to the A minor again. In music, we almost always have some sort of call and response, or some sort of answer. It's kind of like in poetry, you know, you have A, B, A, B. The second A answers the first A, and the second B answers the first B, right? If you've studied poetry or know a little bit about poetry, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So in this case here, after that A minor, E minor bit, then I do this. That's all. Super easy. I just make a D suspended and a D chord. I pick the notes individually. And then back into my intro again. But I take that effect off. And then back into that bit again, okay? Now some folks will say, well, how did you know when to use that effect? Here's the deal. There is no knowing when to use the effect. What I mean by that is, how do you know when to eat an apple? Or how do you know when to take a walk on a beach? Well, you eat the apple when you want to, you walk on the beach when you want to. I'll use that effect when I want to. So basically, that's all the permission you need. They're paintbrushes. Which paintbrush do you want to use? This one, I've been using this big fat brush for a while. Let's use this thin brush, see what kind of cool stuff I can come up with. That's what I did there. Also, what I like to do is I like to paint different colors within the song. Because if you have the same tone going through the whole song, the part may get lost. It may not. You can do other things with dynamics and voicings and movement and what have you. And percussion or rhythm. But it's just yet another brush that you could use, which is tone. And in this case here, for that part, I wanted it nice and droney. It wasn't big banging type of chords. We have done that already. I wanted something softer, and that part just was more flowy. And that's why I chose to do the tremolo, because I could, what the tremolo does is it allows some movement on the guitar without doing much. I mean, I just strummed a chord. That sounds great. If I just did this. Cool, but even cooler. Cool? All right, good. All right, now that is all the parts of the song. So literally, if you learned the intro, you learned the chorus. If you learned the verse, you learned the second verse, except I did do a little something with the ebow that I'll show you in just a minute here. And the chorus, you learned the chorus. So really, that's it. The solo, I'm just hitting diamonds there, nothing big and nothing big there. And for the there's one part there where I don't do anything, right? And it's the drop down part where you hear the coyotes. Let the coyotes have their moment in the sun, right? So I'll let them take the solo there, and I'm just going to sit back for a minute. And that's what I did. Now, there's one little section there where right in the second verse, right, where it's like. I use the E-bow. With that nice big reverb, it sounds nice. This is called an E-bow. I probably have this in my store. I think I do. If you go to kit.co/YourGuitarSage, I think I have an E-bow in there. It's E-B-O-W. Or you just look on the internet, E-B-O-W. I don't care. I just want you to have one. They're super fun. It's basically a battery-driven magnet that shakes the string kind of like a bow. It doesn't touch the string, it just literally. Or you could use the higher mode that's kind of like a harmonic. Pretty fun, huh? Sure it is. Okay, so let's get to some questions. Oh, hey, Mike, if we don't have it, you could pop up the old buy us a coffee if anybody wants to buy us a coffee. Or buy Mike a burrito. I ate this morning, so I'm full. But you might want to buy Mike a burrito. All right, so let's talk about it. Let me see. What questions do you guys have for me? Let's see. Let's do this. Let's get some questions answered. Hey, Roy, thanks so much for the donation, man. Oh, so kind, Roy. Roy, the bear fan. The bear fan. Music theory won't hinder creativity. Hope Melissa and Little Ninja are doing well. Can't believe I have been following you for almost 10 years. I love that, Roy. That's fantastic. Has it been 10 years? Oh, man. It's been 15 years that I've been on YouTube. Dang. That's a long time. Okay, so I am where I was last time as far as the questions, so here we go. I'm moving on with some questions here. Any questions that you got for me? Now's the time, friends. This is at a topic, though, I want to ask, when should one start practicing electric guitar? Right now. That's the time. There is no special time. It's right now. Okay, we talked about the fingering for the B7. Okay, playing the key of F sharp, F minor. But again, if you have the capo on, you don't have to think that. You can think E minor. Okay. Why wouldn't you say that this is in the key of G sharp, especially when using the number notation? Well, because let me see if I did that. Here's the deal. I don't want you to think it's confusing. There's no need to do it. If you would like to make things more complicated, then for sure, think in G sharp. But if you want to not do that, it's kind of like putting on ski boots on the beach. You don't have to do it. You could if you wanted to. But why would you do it? Like, what's the benefit? So you calling it G sharp, what's that going to do for you? But if you're thinking like in the key of G, one who plays in the key of G will be like, well, C's there and D's there, E minor, A minor. But if you're thinking G sharp, now you're gonna be like, well, now which one's sharp? Which one's you're gonna be thinking too much about it. Which the chord's gonna go past you. If you want to do that, Rick, and there's some reason that you feel that that's gonna help you, then, but been playing for like 35 years. I don't know of what the benefit would be, but there may be something that I'm missing that you are thinking of. And I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being just brutally honest. There may be something. I like to leave space for being wrong. Or not being wrong, but maybe you have a different way of doing it, is what I'm saying. Great question though. Finger stays on the high E for the B7, for the B minor. There is no B minor, but for the B7, no, it does not. That's part of the 9 essential chords that I give you in the free course. The link for that's below. It's the link where you get the PDF and all that. It's what I call the 9 essential chords, okay? Too early for a beer? Absolutely not. Okay. How do you know if the song is in a minor or major key? Well, by the feel of it. How does it feel? You know, does this song, is this tune the feel-good ditty of the summer? No, it's not. Jack and Diane is a ditty, right? Little ditty about Jack and Diane. That's a fun one. That's up, right? That's in a major key. This one's in a minor key. It sounds very sobering. It's like he's going to be singing about something serious, right? We're not talking about summer love. We're talking about death and those sorts of things and who knows what else. Talking about the coyotes and what they heard and what the oracle told Gabe, that sort of thing. So it's more a darker, sobering sound. So listen to a song, and does it make you feel? I would say, does it make you feel sad? Does it make you feel happy? Does it? If you could pick a smiley emoticon or a sad emoticon, which one would you pick? That'll usually tell you what key you're in. That being said, it's funny. Tonal centers, like on a song like this, if you ran this past 100 schooled musicians, probably 99% of them would say that it's in a minor key. Some might say it's in a major key. But it's like the difference between those two keys, since they use the same exact sets of notes and the exact same sets of chords, then one might say, well, what really is the difference? And it's really, what chord are you starting on? What are those chords that you're hovering over a lot? But it wouldn't be incorrect to say that it was in the key of G. That's how I think about it using the number system, okay? Okay. Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner is one of my favorite tunes. And they ain't random notes. I know that song by heart. Those aren't random, but they're amazing. That's an amazing tune. My knees hurt. No such thing as too much spice. See, there's something for everyone. So, like, you know, yeah, there's some people that want to hear Metallica 24/7. Has anybody ever said, hey, in public, I know you from YouTube? Yeah, I get that a lot. I was in True Food this weekend, and a guy's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, you go to Starbucks? And I'm like, I mean, I've been, but like I don't work there, and no, I don't go there anymore. And I said, do you play guitar? And he said, I do. I said, do you watch YouTube videos? He's like, yeah. I said, oh, I know you. Okay. So that happens often. Okay. Oh, thank you, Drew. Kind words. Yeah, Steven Tyler. Sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll let Gabe know that. That's funny. What site is this? I don't know what you mean. If you mean the site where you click on it, it's my website. We can create that and give you the PDF and all that stuff. Mike does that. Thank you, Mike. Alrighty. Looking for questions. All caps and a question mark if you can. Sounds like Red Hot Chili Peppers, really? Huh. I love Red Hot, so. Daggone it. Okay, here we go. Almost at the end here, still looking for questions. Yeah, Drew, these EBOs are a lot of fun, man. Super, super fun. Oh, thank you, Mike. Beautiful. What's the price range of the guitar that you're using? A really nice guitar. The newer ones are maybe $2,500 or so. This is an actual 59, and it was 10 grand out the door. Just like no discounts. Do you use the EBO on a clean channel? No, I use it on the same channel that I was using, so it's just some overdrive. What's the difference between minor and major? That's a real broad question, Thomas. That would not be very easy to answer. But essentially, they're sharing the same sets of notes. Here you go. You know me and my analogies. But it's kind of like this. Is the glass half full or half empty? I run into people all day long. They don't know that they're brainwashed. They don't know that they're sad. They don't know that they're victims. And then I meet people who are just the opposite, and they're in everything they do, they're happy, and everything they do, they're winners. And they've developed that sense that Abraham Lincoln talks about, where it's like we determine whether we're happy or not, right? From the darkest Auschwitz, there's been folks who were able to manage their ways through that with a mind and a heart that was in tune. And you can almost think about minor and majors being the same thing. Basically, you have the same sets of notes, the same life, if you will. Maybe not the same life, but you got the same notes, the same chords, and it just depends on how you play them. It depends on how many times you go to that minor chord. It depends on how many times you go to that major chord. It depends on if you start the chord progression off on a minor chord or a major chord. If you start the day off happy or sad, it's usually how the rest of the day is going to go. I had that this morning. My boy woke up, and he was in a pissy mood, and he was causing all sorts of heck in the house, and I just breathed through it and sang a song to my cats as I was feeding them, and he changed his attitude, and by the time we left the house, everything was good. The solo sustain device is an EBow. Galaxy Gooner, yeah, the BPM on the chart is not correct. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or is it? 1, 2. It is correct. I am wrong. It is correct. It's a 1, 2. So those are quarter notes, right? Well, we don't. They're called quarter notes, but in this case, we have 6 of them in a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we tap that out, if I do tap that out on my metronome, it'll be 160. Okay? So I wasn't wrong in that. Should my 6-year-old start with acoustic or electric? I would start them on ukulele, to be honest with you. Otherwise, if you're talking acoustic or electric, then an electric, if they aren't distracted by the effects and stuff like that, which they shouldn't be. You just plug it in to the amp and you're good to go. I say start off on the ukulele because after some years of teaching guitar to students, I said I'm going to teach them ukulele first because it literally translates to the guitar very easily. I've got lots of videos for that, and they can carry it around with them everywhere. It's not overwhelming. If you got a kid and you want them to start playing guitar, start them off on ukulele. I've got ukulele lessons out there. Otherwise, you can do the guitar. It's just going to be harder. It is what it is. If you're willing to navigate that or have them possibly quit, then do the guitar. Okay. Yeah, Jack and Diane is major. Yeah, it could be an A major. I think you could be right. But it's definitely major. Okay. Somebody said, I've always felt like doing charts like that are very limiting. All I feel like you can do is play open chords, and those kind of songs seem like they're made for that. Jay, no, that the guitarist would be limited. I mean, if you're a guitarist that's limited, then yes, you will be limited. But no, the chart, that's what the best guitar players in the world use every single day here in Nashville. That's what they use. They use those bare bone charts. Some of them are even less information than what I've got there. It's in here. It's not on the paper, you know. Otherwise, why hire a guitar player if you can write it all out, unless you can't play guitar? Otherwise, just write out all the parts. The whole point of a studio guitar player, and the whole point of this series is to teach you how to conjure up those pieces. Now, this song was, I'm glad we started this one because it's a more simple one, but as we start getting into some of the other songs that have actual noodly type parts going on and what have you, you're gonna go, oh, I can bring this to my own playing, right? And it will unlock a lot of things for you. But for this tune, for the most part, it was open chords, so I'm glad we did this for a first one. But no, those song charts aren't limiting if you're not limited, because they just tell you the skeleton of the song, kind of like here's the blueprint of the house, you know what I mean? For the blueprint of the house, you're not going to say couch goes here and picture goes here. You're like, nah, here's the wall, this is going to be the family room, this is going to be a bathroom, so we need to get plumbing there. It's a basic structure so you know what's going on, okay? I love sad songs too. I do. I love them. I love happy songs too. Love them all. I need to know what is in the glass. My knees, you are a funny guy. What's the name of the song you were playing? Is it on YouTube? Yeah, the link, Mr. Pirate Brain, which I love your name. Mr. Pirate Brain, the link is below, and it will take you to the page that the chart is at, and I'll take you to the music video that we did in New Mexico. This was just a couple months ago now. Maybe not even 2 months ago.
And the links in the chat.
What? And the links in the chat. Okay, beautiful. Thanks, Mike. You mentioned you like the Spanish guitar. Will you be doing any lessons on Spanish guitar? No, there are people who play it much better than I can, so no, I will not be. Here you go. Ken's got it figured out. Whether you think you are happy or not, meaning think you're not happy, you are right. Typically only happy people get that one. What is your best advice for music to improve more? Practice like you want to be the best. If mediocrity is your game, then don't practice that much. But if you want to excel, then practice more than anybody else, right? Practice a lot. Okay. Eric, my picking hand thumb starts painting after playing guitar for some time. Any solution? Yeah, you're just not used to the movements yet. Your muscles are not used to it. It's going to take some time, so it's just practice. It literally is just practice. It's getting those hands. It's like, hey, I went to the gym today and my muscles hurt. What did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You can go to the gym again. Then it's going to hurt again. And each day that you go, it's going to hurt less and less because you're developing those muscles. That's literally the answer. Been a while since I could join one of these. Your custom guitar still on hold? It is, friend. It's going to be badass when it's created, because I'm not just going and creating, this is from scratch. Like I'm growing a tree. I'm going to cut out some wood out of a tree. Now, it's not going to be that from scratch, but it's going to be, there's a lot that goes into it, so I'm not just necessarily going to another company. I say I'm not going to another company. I don't want to do that. But we'll see. If they can create it custom enough for me, I would. Does learning music theory inhibit one's creativity? Does learning the rules of driving limit one's driving? Does learning arithmetic limit your ability to count? Just giving you some others. The answer is no. What it does is it can, if you allow it to, but really what it does is it shows you the fingerprint of music. And if you're like, well, it can only be this, then yes, then it would inhibit you. But the greats, Mozart, all these guys, they would say, learn the rules and then forget the rules. So you learn them, and then they're there for you when you need them. All this stuff that I'm showing you, I'm using music theory, right? I'm showing this to you with music theory to show you what to do. If we didn't have that, there would be no way to talk. It's basically just the language of music. To play a minor chord, don't you just flatten the fifth? No, you flatten the third, friend. The third of the chord. Yes, Will got it right. Yep. Yes. There are no wrong chords or notes. That is correct. There are no wrong notes or chords. It's art. Music is art. Art is subjective. Now, I could play a bunch of notes together and someone would say it's wrong, but they're not wrong if that was my intention to play that and I like that sound, right? Sure. Have you ever tuned your guitar with an electronic tuner? Yes, and then before playing you checked it and it wasn't tuned? Yeah, Maverick, watch my tuning video that's in the free series that I'm giving you today. The link is below. Watch that series and I teach you all about that. Is there a way to tune your guitar that people don't understand? Because they were never taught. I was never taught. I learned it myself and then I teach other people. So it was not taught to me. Who is it you said you have to play the right, wrong notes? I don't know what that means. Somebody said, did you make this up? Yeah, if you're talking about the guitar parts, yeah, but like what I'm saying to you is like if you understand what the chords are, there's just so many different places you could go on the neck that are very obvious, okay? So what I'm telling you, Glory Row, I'm showing you that you can make this up. Any of you can make this up because it's like it comes to you, okay? It's improvisation, but if somebody looks at you and says, what's your name? What are you gonna say? Bird. No, you can say what your name is because that's the proper response. So if someone's playing an E minor chord, if the band's playing an E minor chord, then you know that you can dabble around that E minor chord and it's gonna fit with the music. It's a schematic, it gets you in the right place, okay? Your PDF with the essential 9 chords actually shows a different fingering for B7. It has a 2nd fret, A string, 1st finger, D string. No. If that's the case, then the PDF is incorrect. But yeah, the 2nd fret, A string, yeah. 1st fret, D string, yes. 2nd fret, G string, right? And 2nd fret, E string. And you did something different. Oh no, Rick, I didn't do something different. What I did was I played the chord, right? I played the chord, but then I played an inversion. I played also a bass note, so I went. Okay, because that's an inversion of the chord. All right, cool. All right. All right, we're almost done, friends. We're almost done. I just want to make sure I get to all your questions because we are going to do this more, and I really want you guys to get this. You need the key of the song and the number chart, right? Yeah. Can we also create a solo which is not in any scale? You can. I could also talk to you like this the whole time, but that isn't going to really serve a purpose, right? Why would I do that? So you can do that, but it's not going to sound very good. There's a reason why we have a key. And there's a reason why we play certain chords and certain notes. It's because they sound better. Okay? All right, last question here. What is your favorite chord progression? Oh, is that the last question? No, there's a lot more questions in there. Uh-oh. Oh, no, that's it. What is your favorite chord progressions? Honestly, this kind of music is some of my favorite chord progressions. I love minor, and I love that B7 thrown in there, and that we do that a lot with this kind of music. I have songs written like that too. It just gives it that real Spanish type sound. So I love that. Some of my favorite chord progressions actually playing in this band. So, Eric, can you give a class on different ways of tuning guitar, like tuning to D or such? Jack is saying. Jack, I probably wouldn't do that just because I just don't play in those keys very often, or I don't play with different tunings very often. I think there's probably somebody who could better serve you than me on that, you know? Okay. All right, sweet. All right, friends, we went a little bit over today. Couple things before we leave. You're not going to get out of these lessons if you don't download the PDF. And I painstakingly created it for you. So do it. It's free. There's no sign up or anything. You just literally download it. It's yours. But you're not going to get anything out of this if you don't apply these things, right? Watching this stuff, you're going to get a little bit. Trying it out right here during our program, that'll help. Going home and practicing this stuff and putting it together and then trying to use it in some of your own songs, I promise you, if you guys stick with me for this series, okay, and it's something that's going to be going on. I'll just number them 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever parts, and we'll do different songs. The next one will be 2 weeks from now, I'd say, and we'll do it on another one of the Gabriel the Bull tunes, okay? Mike, if you could, if you hadn't, drop them the Spotify link there. And then if you guys want to listen to those songs, get familiar with them, those will be the ones that we're doing next. So the next one, I'd say in 2 weeks from now, will probably be Guardian Angels. Dennis, if you watch the video, the lyrics for that song are underneath it, okay? And the link for that is in the description of this video. So Guardian Angels will probably be the next one. It'll be in 2 weeks. I'm going to guide you through it. I'll give you the PDF again, and I promise you, if you guys stick with me in this, you guys are literally going to be, if you just have the basics of guitar down, which I give you that, and then you're learning how to play like this, boom, it's going to thrust you forward very quickly in what it is that guitar players need to be able to do. They need to be able to decipher, they need to come up with parts, they need to stay out of the singer's way, they need to come up with tones, all the rest, and it's real world stuff. It's going to help a ton. Okay. Also, real quick, in Joe Robinson's course, thank you, Mike, this Saturday, Joe Robinson's course will drop for the intermediate fingerstyle course. Why do you advertise other guitar players, Eric? I don't understand that. So glad that you asked, because Joe did that course here. He co-opted that course with us here because we create great courses, and we're really fun to work with. And then we, in lieu of that, or right after that, we discount those courses massively for you guys so that you guys can keep learning. So Saturday, if you're into fingerstyle, friends, get ready, because we're going to drop that intermediate course. It's going to be normally $150, $130, something like that. It's a long course, massive, great content, and it's going to be $10, something like that, $9.99, $10.99, something like that. Really, really low. We'll also be discounting the beginner course as well. So, friends, thank you so much. Great questions here, and we will see you in 2 weeks. See ya.